Howdy folks, it's me, Manic Mark, coming to you from the bunker system located underneath the art villa found somewheres in the jungles of the Midwest. And it's record day today. In fact, I think this was the same shirt I was wearing for the last record day, which was only several days ago. But the weather was really nice today. There's some heat moving in, and I just decided to take the Jeep out and make a run and see what happens. And I found a really great stack of records. But at a Goodwill I stopped at, I found this weird modern toy. It's Tiki drummer. It says for ages 6 and up. I guess up to like what, 55? What a little Mom, I want the Tiki drummer because it reminds me of the 50s when Liberty was making a lot of great records. Is that what? That's probably why it was at the Goodwill. Let's just start with a good record. I haven't listened to it yet, but I assume it's going to be fun. How to achieve sexual harmony in marriage. Let's take a listen.
Now, male sex anatomy is mainly outside the body. It consists of the penis and the skin sac or scrotum that holds the testicles. You know, I get so many people who will say to me, Dr. Liswood, what's the average size of the relaxed penis? Well, scientists have come up with the measure, and now you know exactly what the measure is. The penis measures about 2.5 to 3 inches in length. I don't expect you to run back and measure, but I think that it's very important for you to relax. People will worry about the size of the penis. I know that your friends like to brag, and I don't want to deflate them in any way, but please believe me, it doesn't matter what the size of the penis is. All we care about is that it functions. And you have to understand that once you're relaxed, once you feel comfortable, once you feel at ease, you're going to be able to function very nicely. Almost 99% of all men who worry about themselves, worry about their potency, when they're examined, they found they're perfectly normal. It's a psychic impotency. So please don't worry about it and don't be concerned about the size of the penis.
But I hope it was good. Okay. That I got at my favorite record shop. This I got at St. Vincent de Paul. And look at this cover. This is a wonderful cover. Look at that woman has got her eyes shut on the cover. It's like the one photograph where everybody looked pretty good except for her. Why did she was outvoted when they printed it? Anyway, the reason I picked it up, there's no record in it. God darn it anyway. A religious record I had. I didn't swear. Golden Shield, manufactured by Wright. But I got it because very recently a nephew of... anyway, this is his family name. And he's also putting me in contact with another one of his family members who was a session musician on many of these 60s and 70s, early 70s local gospel records I've gotten. So I'm hoping can ask a few questions of that person. In fact, he plays piano on this album, the guy I'm supposed to contact with. Unfortunately, there's no record in that one. Okay, this was great. A wonderful, fine Capitol guitar spectacular with Speedy West. This was quite a find. I was very happy to get this. Spaceman in Orbit, Guitar Spectacular, Speedy West. I love Speedy West. I've got Best Of on CD. Never thought I'd find an album. This has got a cover that's kind of taped up, but I thought it was kind of unusual. On kids stuff, Pink Panther, Rock and Roll. Okay, see these two rock and roll dudes on here? On their shirts is printed Itchy and Scratchy. And this record is 1981. Was Itchy and Scratchy, were they already, was that cartoon, you know? I have no idea. Anyway, it's got Panther Punk is on this, whatever. I don't know, just oddball. There you go. Let's move on. Della on RCA 1960 Della Reese. Nice cover. Here's the first in the series of 2 records, Roman Guitar Volume 2, Tony Montola. I just found Volume 2 last week, and here you go, Volume 1. Awesome. You know, I've held this up before. I found another copy. I can't believe it. I think I've got 2 copies of the mono, and this is the first stereo copy I've got. So I picked it up. Mr. Lucky Goes Latin, a nice copy of a Henry Mancini album that I think is going to be pretty cool. I don't have this one. Bossa Beat, Sandy Nelson. Bossa Beat, 50 cents, Sandy Nelson, Bossa Beat. And you're not going to believe this either. Why did I pay $3 for the last copy when I've just found this one for 50 cents? I don't know. I haven't even listened to it yet. A friend of mine, Bill, hey Bill, sent me a YouTube thing with a song off of it. It sounds pretty cool. I've got this one too. It's excellent. I'll hold it up again. Found another copy. Hotline for Sound. Musical explorations in beats, bongos, and bofs. Bob and Phil in the orchestra. Bob and Phil. It's actually very good. Something I normally wouldn't buy, but it's a pretty good copy. Donovan, very popular record. But hey, I picked it up because it was there. And usually records like that aren't around. Including this one, Orbiting with Roy Orbison. Budget, Pickwick design. Pickwick's budget label. 1962. It's a dual. It's like a weird record. Roy's on one side and Bristow Hopper is on the flip side of the record. They just share the record. There wasn't enough material. They couldn't afford a whole record full of Roy Orbison's work, apparently. But it was kind of a cool cover. Another copy of George Shearing's Quintet Blue Chiffon. I Believe, Tony Sandler and Ralph Young. It's just a Christian record. Normally wouldn't pick it up, but it's autographed on the front, so I thought I'd give it a shot. Holiday for Strings, but the wonderful cover. 1954, early. Ragdoll's Adventure in Animal Land. Ragdoll's Adventure in Animal Land. Normally wouldn't pick this up. The Magic Carpet to Africa. I have no idea. On some kind of, you never know with these. You're going to get something that's politically incorrect or what. You know, I have no idea. So I picked it up. Torch Singer, Morgana King. Hadn't heard of her, but this is an album called Taste of Honey, and the cover's kind of funny because she's got this spoon in her mouth, and on the back she's got the spoon. It's a spoonful of honey. It's just a very awkward looking cover. I had to have it. A movie soundtrack, The VIPs, with Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth, God rest her soul, she was so smoking hot. Music by Milkos Rosa. I know I've got some of his records, but I couldn't remember what he does, but I picked it up. It was $1, okay. Another Stereo Action record with the die cut on the front. There you know, the thing comes out like that, and unfortunately this one's got a bit of damage on it, but it's a record I don't have. Keith Textor, Chorus and Percussion. So it sounds like it's just right up my alley. It should be a decent record. And I never buy Hugo Winterhalter's records, except that he's got some neat covers. So I bought this one because I know it's not going to be any good. Poor Hugo. But the cover's nice, 1959. Like the cover. Again, another cover. I just bought it. It was like $1. Women of the World. I have no idea. I hope it's kind of like an exploitation record. Anyway, it went on way too long. This one's very interested in gatefold on Warner Brothers, reminiscent of Command, 1962. It's definitely like a Command ripoff on the jacket. But it's a Stereo Workshop presents The Fourth Dimension in Sound, a musical experiment in the adaptation of instruments to modern electronics. Now, I really don't have any idea what that means. Does that just mean that however they recorded the instruments was new for Warner Brothers? Or is there some kind of weirdness going on? I have no idea. Nina Simone, Forbidden Fruit. Nina Simone, I have no idea. Don't have any of her work. I know there's you folks out there love her, but it was a great cover, and it was $1. So Manic Mark picked it up. For $2, I could not believe it. $2 at a real record store. A copy of Soundproof. Let me see. It's got the original sleeve. It's very nice. I bought a copy of this on eBay, and I paid like $10 for it, and I was happy to get it for that. Ferret and Teacher. Did I pronounce that right? For all you folks that don't think they made any good music or don't know because you haven't had a chance to experience them. Their first several albums, or very early albums from the 50s, were experimental. And this is it's just like, and this image is a still from Forbidden Planet, which is a fabulous science fiction movie. I highly recommend it. One of my favorites. And I could never figure out what the connection was, if any, other than they just wanted a spacey cover because they experiment with their pianos, doing things like banging on the strings and doing all kinds of things. It's quite good. Highly recommend it. This was a cool record right here. It's an import, not an import. This is not an import, but it's a wonderful cover. It's South American. It has something to do with an organ and rhythm. Okay, Rafael Escalona. But what's curious about it is that, see the letter in front, the little flowers. The flowers are like a cloth, they're like an add-on. It's part of the record cover, but they're little pieces of cloth that were applied, cloth flowers that were applied to the cover. So I had to have that one. That was pretty cool. Xavier Cugat holding a big turd with a hat, wearing a hat, a big turd wearing a hat, with his standard hot redhead next to him. It's a cigar. But you know, it just doesn't come across as a cigar unless you know that he smokes cigars. And another Cugat album I don't have, with a fabulous redhead on the cover, Mambo. And a couple of Cugats. Love him. He's my favorite Latin, kind of like Latin pop guy. A stereo version of Liberty's On Liberty, Russ Garcia and his Orchestra Fantastica. This is an awesome record. I may already have it in stereo. I know I got it in mono. I'm looking forward to listening again if it's in stereo. And sometimes you can get them reasonable, which I did today, and other times they're quite high. Depends on when you look for them on eBay. But it's really an outstanding space. It's like a journey through space. Early, probably there's no date, but it's probably 58 or 59 would be my guess. Excellent album. But the Beatles songbook, Phase 4, London, but it's done by Frank Kankshaft. Did I get that right? Shanksfield? No. Frank Shanksfield. Did I get that right? And his orchestra, he's the guy that wrote Ebb Tide. You know, it's like in the mid-50s. So when he did this record, which there's no date on it, but I'm thinking it's got to be in the late 60s. I have no idea what to expect, just oddball. Oh, I almost forgot these. The ones I picked up yesterday from a friend. I went over to get some firewood from my friend Dick's house. Hey, Dick. And Dick had a few records laid out for me. Listen to this one, Ovation, 1971 Ovation Quadraphonic demonstration record. I was going to say stereo quadraphonic. Quadraphonic stereo demonstration record. Stereo compatible. What I didn't know is Dick Shorey. Yeah, that's right. I think I got that right. He's just the president of Ovation. Well, he's made a couple of really great percussion albums, conducted, arranged, and so he's got one of his tunes on this. And the thing of it is I don't think I've heard another album that I can remember in my life that had such deep, rich, warm, engaging sound as that I've heard on this record. And I'm not like listening on top end equipment either. And it's a compilation album, but there's a lot of. It's just great. It was just one of the better demonstration records I found. I found another, or I didn't find. Dick had for me another James Last album, El Condor Pasa Sessions. JBL promotion album for JBL. It's a double record. It's a double record set. There's I have no idea. Sessions, high fidelity. It's a demonstration record. 1973 JBL demonstration record. David Pike Jazz for the Jet Set. Look at that lovely cover. That that model struggling to make that beanbag space dress and fishbowl look hip on the cover. And the music exactly reflects the cover. It's late 60s, 67, late 60s, like late 60s, early 70s, kind of almost like TV theme music sound. It's like a blend of jazz and light pop. It's really fun. So thanks, Dick, for providing this one. And then now we'll let the Tiki Time toy introduce the closing musical segment. Go, Tiki Time toy, go.